when you have a record like the Browns have had for the last 20 years,
yeah.
And in the last 10 years, which is the decade, they're the only NFL team to not achieve a winning record in the entire decade.
I mean, that's
unbelievable.
Speaks for itself.
How can you not just show up and play 500 ball one year out of 10? You'd think you'd be able to do that. Let's take a look at it season by season. Here's the losing decade. 2010, 5-11, 4-12, 5-11, 4-12, 7-9. Then you have 3-13, 1-15, 0-16, 7-8-1, and right now it is 6-9.
Les, if you would have told me entering this season that the Browns would finish with a worse winning percentage than last year's team, I would have laughed you right off the set. And guess what?
I would have cried.
Max victories. Max is 7-9, and 7-8-1 beats 7-9.
Okay.
So it's just remarkable.
But wait a minute. When you're led by these people, how can you lose that many games? Eric-Mangini.
The man genius.
Pat-Shurmur. Rob-Chudzinski. Mike-Pettine. Hue-Jackson. Gregg-Williams. And freddie-kitchens.
Keep that, Brian, please. Keep that graphic up. This is what I'm talking about with giving coaches an extra year. Mangini, some would say he deserved longer, but he didn't do much after he left Cleveland. Pat-Shurmur, he's coaching the Giants now,
Mangini was
not
a
very
defensive
well.
coordinator with San Francisco.
Mangini, I'm talking about as a head coach.
Yeah, okay.
Moving on from Cleveland as a head coach, you can argue that Eric Mangini's second year set the franchise back. Shurmur, 2 years, probably should have been gone after one. Chudzinski, okay, he hasn't done anything since. Mike-Pettine, what did he ever do as a head coach after he was let go in 2 years? Hue-Jackson, as we said, got 3. So, thanks, Brian, and Mike Bacon. There are examples of coaches that were kept too long.
How about quarterbacks? Should we name quarterbacks?
I mean, as I said, head coach and quarterback are where you want to move on if you're not comfortable. But I think, John, you're talking about the list of decade QBs. Okay.
Jake, this is the decade since 2010. Delhomme, Seneca-Wallace, Colt-McCoy, Brandon-Weeden, Thaddeus-Lewis, Jason-Campbell, Brian Hoyer, Connor Shaw. I totally forgot Shaw. I would have never won
Connor Shaw
on Jeopardy. I would
South
have never
Carolina,
won on that
I believe.
One. Johnny-Manziel, never heard of him. Josh-McCown, Austin Davis. Robert-Griffin-III is going to get a start this week. Cody-Kessler, Deshone-Kizer, Kevin-Hogan, and
Hogan's
Tyrod-Taylor.
Heroes. Yes.
It's unbelievable.
Oh,
now,
my
of course,
goodness.
Baker-Mayfield.
But I think Dorsey is more than willing to let Mayfield continue or try to get out of this. In other words, he's going to have more patience with Mayfield because he was his number one overall pick in 18.
And he still has talent. You can see it. Just he was dragged back quite a bit this year.
Yeah, there's a confidence problem. He would say no, but there is. There's an accuracy problem. He's a gamer. We know that. He plays hurt, but name me a quarterback that's 100% healthy at this time of the year.
No, you can't do that. In fact, now the word's coming out from reliable sources that Ben Roethlisberger thinking about not playing ever again.
Yeah, I can't say I'm crying for that.
No,
I
you
feel
don't
bad for the guy
hurt.
getting hurt.
And
but
you made a comment
crying as far as Browns having to deal with him.
Yeah, you made a comment during the week about Joe Burrow and this division.
Yeah, I mean, watching Sunday is bad enough. Watching it in a vacuum is bad enough because you're seeing a loss to the Ravens. But then you have to realize that you're going to be looking up at this team potentially for 5, 7, 9, 10 years. I mean, there's a bunch of young guys on this team that are hungry, and they think they're just getting started on their division dominance. And Joe Burrow presumably goes to the Bengals as number 1 overall. You're going to be looking at him for years and years and years. And that's not even talking about Pittsburgh, which already has a really good defense. It's going to have to figure out what to do at quarterback. But I don't know. It's depressing that when you see the camaraderie that the Ravens have, the team element they have.
Winning does that.
I mean, why can't we have Lamar Jackson in one sense? I don't want to dump on Baker. I don't want to bail on him, but Lamar Jackson is that guy that everybody rallies around. He's clearly a team guy.
I don't remember anybody locally wanting him with that first pick.
No, I didn't think he was all that
I thought he was a one-trick pony.
I wondered about his passing ability, but
well, now do you wonder?
He's proven us wrong, and I mean he's not a great thrower, but you know what? He's a football player.
Yep.
And I know that sounds like a cliche, but it's true, Les.
No,
the Browns need more football players.
It almost sounds like John Dorsey.